welcome to Music and Lyrics. I'm Brent Reynolds, and I'm here with Eileen Esposito.
Hi.
And she's our featured artist. But before we get into the actual music, we're going to get to know a little bit about you, Eileen. And we'll start, and sorry, I'm a little older, I need my glasses. I understand you went to, let's start with Berklee College of Music. Tell me a little bit about that.
Berklee was an incredible experience. It was amazing. It was just a little microcosm environment of all musicians, all the big fish from the little seas of the world were all together in one place. It was just so rich with music. It felt like going to camp or something every day, but it was really school. We were really being graded and judged on our technique and everything. But I made some of my best friends there.
Good. And when did you go?
I was there from 08 to 11, but I officially graduated in 13 because I had to do an internship after that for my degree, which was in music therapy.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you about next, so let's roll right into that. Tell me about that. I found that very fascinating.
Yeah, I received a bachelor's of music therapy from Berklee and completed a master's level internship, which is 2,400 hours from the Louis Armstrong Center for Music and Medicine in Manhattan. It's part of Mount Sinai, at the time Beth Israel.
When I was doing research, I had read a little tidbit where people with cognitive diseases that are musicians or exposed to music, they do better over the long term with those diseases. So
and they rehabilitate faster, absolutely. Like Gabrielle Giffords, for example, she experienced a traumatic brain injury. The different parts of the brain that are responsible for different functions are not affected when it comes to music, because not one specific part of the brain is responsible for experiencing music. So you can revive speaking through musical melodies and familiar things that are buried deep in the brain.
That's funny because, you know, if you,
for example,
I could never repeat the lyrics of a song to somebody unless I was singing the song.
Yeah, because the melody it's embedded very deeply, and scientists cannot pinpoint there is no one particular part of the brain responsible for music. So it's a very powerful tool to rehabilitate these different parts of the brain if someone experienced a traumatic brain injury or a cognitive disease.
And you're a certified life specialist? Is that, what is that?
Certified child life specialist. The child life field is incredible. What we do is we help prepare kids and cope with traumatic hospital clinical experiences.
And you go in and you play and you just expose them to music?
Yeah, play is a huge part of it. We prepare them for what's going to happen. We support them through it. We speak in developmentally appropriate terms to make sure that they understand, because a 6-year-old is going to have a different reaction and response to a medical situation than a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old. So a certified child life specialist is trained in child development and a lot of trauma and coping styles. So we try to mitigate the effects of trauma and stress, specifically from medical and psychosocial and emotional experiences, so that the long-term effects are decreased.
That's intensely interesting, and that's awesome.
That's
very interesting. Also, I come from a military family. I was in the military. My father was military. My mother was military. Cousins, aunts, uncles, and little tidbit, you took a USO tour.
Yes.
So tell me about that. You were in Kandahar.
Yes, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, all of the Middle East territories. We flew in on C-130s, and we were protected by our military, and we stayed on the bases, ate at the chow halls.
What did you just went and you played and with small stages and just interacted?
Exactly, yeah, and we stayed after every single performance to speak with the soldiers and visit with them and connect with them and hear their stories too. So there was the entertainment aspect, and then there was the person-to-person, emotional and social aspect too.
I don't pretend to speak for veterans in any way, but that is awesome.
Well, the field of music therapy, come to find out, actually started in World War II with military. The nurses were singing to soldiers while they were wounded in hospital there, and as the nurses were singing to them, certain soldiers were healing faster and getting discharged faster. And that is how the whole field of music therapy came to be. So yeah, that
is really cool. All right, I'm going to throw something at you. You ready?
Yeah.
She looks just like me. She probably loves to sing. I know she must love to sing. Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness. That song is about my sister. So I have a long lost sister. Okay. And we didn't meet until about 10 years ago, and we're about 6 years apart in age. And when I first heard about her, I wrote a song about her. Yeah, and so she does. She looks just like me, and she does love to sing.
I thought there was a little history when I was researching your book, Hummingbird.
Yeah.
And I was reading through it, and I was like, that really grabbed me. I love that lyric.
Yeah, no, I just got emotional when you asked me.
That was great.
Thank you.
I love that. But tell me about the book. Tell me about what you did, the whole idea behind it.
The book is a collection of 88 songs, and the original idea was to release a bunch of music and then kind of do a music and book tour combination experience for fans or listeners. It didn't really come to pass because life happens, but the songs are all there, and they all have unique melodies. They all have unique lyrics and meanings, and they're divided into different parts of my life in which they were written. There's 88 full, verse, chorus, bridge, full, complete songs. Right. And at any given point, if we can open the book, I'll sing them to you. But that book was really special to me because I just needed to get all of my stuff into one place and kind of have a home for that.
Well, I thought I had read, and maybe I was wrong, that you, in the book, where you was like, just take these and do your own thing with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of the idea behind it.
That is definitely the idea behind it. I wanted people to have the lyrics separate from the music, to be inspired to, maybe use the rhyme scheme to make up their own melodies, and just to encourage people to relate to the stories in their own way. Because we all have those coming of age stories, the love, the dreams, the heartbreak, love and loss in life. So the idea in the beginning of the book is talking about the power of songwriting to commemorate those different things that happen in your life, and to just
I think that
share.
I think that ties back to what you do professionally too. That whole healing. And I'll tell you a story. It reminded me. I used to go out every day and sit on I'd put the bed of the tailgate of my pickup down, and I would play, and I would just play every afternoon. And my wife comes out one day and she goes, "You're gonna live longer than me," and walk back in the house. And come to find out, there was a study. She'd heard a study where people that play music, they relax and they feel more comfortable. So
it lowers stress levels.
Yeah, so she goes, "You have less stress."
Yeah, absolutely.
It was funny that she did that.
It's true, and it's coming more and more into popularity right now. Music as medicine,
and you reminded me. It took me back to my childhood. My first instrument I learned to play was banjo.
Awesome! I love the banjo.
I had a book by Pete Seeger, and he did the same thing. He'd show you stuff, but at the end, he just had a bunch of lyrics, and he just said, "Yeah, take these songs. I just wrote them all. I put them all up here. Do what you want with them." So you kind of took me back to my childhood with your book.
Oh, Pete Seeger! I actually got to see him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw him live at Farm Aid, and if I had a hammer, I do that in my set list.
Oh, nice. My dad did that
wail
song.
on it. I love it.
Yeah, my dad was a folk singer for years.
Ah, that's awesome.
And now I want to have you look over here, and Jerry, I want you to bring up the picture I asked earlier.
So you did have a picture, and you do know about this.
So tell me about that.
You sweet girl.
That is so cute.
Those are some of my little songwriting students. In December, I launched a company, a songwriting school, and I teach the tiniest little kids from age 2 to 5, and they're developmentally supportive music lessons. So we're reaching those pre-academic milestones, like the motor skills. Oh, Emmy.
I love it. You just set them up. How do you tune them? Do you do an open tuning so they can't just play a wrong note?
No, these kids, she's really playing a chord there. These kids are learning, that's part of the motor development. Oh. They're learning how to actually play real chords, so they're getting musicality, and also, like I said, pre-academic. Eventually they'll go into the academic world and they'll write. They'll have to hold a pen. And
so you just, so this is your school, you just launched it.
This is my school, yeah.
I love it. I mean, So show me the one.
Thank you. I love
See
that.
see the girl on
She's
the right?
singing her heart out.
I feel like the girl on the right's like, hey, that's my solo, and she just took it from her. See that look on her face?
This picture captures all of our spirits
I
so
know, it's so
perfectly.
cute.
All these little shining stars, and it's such an honor to play music with them and teach them how to sing and express themselves.
All right.
Yeah.
I would, sorry, let me get my thoughts together here. Sorry, I gotta go back to my glasses. And you told Nate, drop the bomb on you, one of our producers, that about Franz Gruber had written Silent Night.
Yeah, so songwriting is deep in the DNA, absolutely.
Right.
When I found that out, I was like, okay, so I could really do this. This is a task I can take on. The story of how he wrote it, and he was kind of called last minute to Christmas Mass. My family may have made it a little bit more.
Oh, you always embellish it.
Yes,
I tell my daughters that,
embellished.
embellish the story.
Yeah.
Just make it a little better.
That's what we do.
Yes.
We're songwriters at heart. But Disney does a great special every Christmas and tells the story of how the song was written. And it's only some slight details are different from how I grew up learning from my family. But yeah, he wrote Silent Night kind of improvised. He wasn't supposed to do the music for Mass that night, but he improvised, and that's why it's very repetitive and pretty simple. And I love improvising, and the kids that I teach too, some of the greatest lyrics come up when I kind of back them up and I let them sing freely. And then I always record what we do, and then I pull out the gems, or I'm frantically writing them down, figure out how to make them rhyme, figure out how to change it up. But improvisation is really where the birthplace of a lot of really magical stuff.
In your family, do you ever get, Eileen, I mean, that's a cute song you wrote, but it's no Silent Night. Do you ever did they ever tease you?
Oh, no, my family is so supportive.
I think it'd be so funny.
They love that somebody is carrying out, like the lineage of musicality is continuing.
All right, thank you very much, Eileen. I think we learned a little bit about you.
Thank you.
And check us out on Music and Lyrics to catch Eileen performing.
I was not expecting the question about loves to sing. Like, why of all the lyrics did you pick that one?
Because it was awesome.
Brad, you want the ending one more time?
The ending?
I had a little tear. I was like, this is like so intensely personal.
It is.
It was so